Paris and the Champs-Élysées. 7 stages of the SISU tour have led us to this. 36 kilometers of cobbled boulevard, 5 laps between the obelisk and the Arc de Triomphe. And after 2 days alone against the clock, every category is back on the same road together for the final act.
The flag is down and the bunch rolls out along the Tuileries. So tell us, Chloe, this is a circuit that serves up the same cobbled drag 5 times over and then finishes dead flat. Who does that suit?
A circuit this flat is decided by raw watts, Simon, not watts per kilo. And for the Sea-Cat riders, the plan is simple. 5 minutes absolutely flat out. Latch onto a faster group up the road, then hang onto it until the sprint. Johanson and Leuverden are the 2 biggest engines that can also hold that cobbled drag. And if I had to split them, Johanson has the better sprint.
And you'll see 3 bars beside each name. Across the top, the heart, how near they are to their best ever cardiac effort. Underneath it, the flame on the left is how close they sit to their limit right this second. The lightning on the right, how close to a power best. Full and green is comfortable. Empty and flashing is new territory.
And in the bottom right corner of your screen, you'll find the live general classification, tracking the scrap Poole is caught in the middle of. He started the day 43rd. He is already up to 42nd. We's now 4 seconds adrift and Sherborne only 6 up the road. 10 riders covered by a minute and a half. Down into the underpass and straight back out the other side. And this is no bunch. It is a vast line of riders, 2 and 3 abreast, strung out the length of the gardens. Poole is somewhere in the middle of it, 250 watts since the flag dropped, beyond what he can sustain, heart already at 174.
Not quite a kilometer to the arch, Simon, and lap 1 only begins there. Then straight onto the cobbled drag toward the Arc de Triomphe. That is where this enormous line breaks into pieces. Poole has been above his sustainable power since the flag, and that is the entry fee. Miss the split, and your race becomes whichever group you land in, and whether that group wants to chase or just settle into a tempo.
300 meters to the arch, past the obelisk, and the pace is winding up. And look at Poole's lightning bolt. 4 minutes of this, and it is already better than 3/4 drained before lap 1 has even begun.
Across the arch, lap 1 underway, and there is already daylight to the riders just up the road. Poole's group need that shut before the drag begins in 500 meters. Down here on the cobbles, the draft makes it cheap. Once the road tips up, that same gap costs a great deal more.
And here is the cost of that opening 5 minutes. BevetBreizh has just set a power best he has never come close to before. The best part of 5 minutes at 275 watts. And he is not alone. There are lightning bolts draining and flashing the whole length of this line.
And now the road tips up, Simon. Poole is putting out 294 watts on these cobbles, and he will need every bit of that and more, because this line is thinning out with every meter of the climb. And this is the first of 5. They come back to the same cobbled kilometer 4 more times before anybody sees a finish line.
And Poole uses the draft boost, up over 300 watts with it, clinging to the wheel in front on the upper slopes. And the timing is deliberate. Spend it before the arch 200 meters up the road, because crossing that line hands him a fresh one.
Look at the mini-map. Gaps opening all the way up to the roundabout. Riders strung out in little clusters ahead. This is precisely the wrong moment to sit up. Poole's bars are nearly empty, but ease off here and those wheels vanish over the top.
Round the Arc de Triomphe, and the line has gone single file. One long thread of riders, with Poole slipping off the back of it, and he has thrown everything at it. 300 watts on the cobbles, the fresh aero helmet spent, and he is still losing ground. And Poole goes! 380 watts out of the A12, the biggest number he has produced all race, hauling himself across the gap, and sadly for the riders that were on his wheel, they cannot come with him. He is across, onto the back of the group in front, and there is daylight ahead of them and daylight behind. That, right there, is the group he rides with now.
And there it is! Poole's heart bar is empty and flashing, and a lightning bolt had gone a heartbeat before it. 8 minutes at 253 watts, more than he has ever held for that long. He would surely have liked to be further up that road, but with all three of those bars draining to nothing within 10 seconds of one another, he can at least be certain he gave it absolutely everything. And look what that effort has bought him. Poole started the day 43rd, and he is up to 39th. When Cheetahs and Wisa all behind him now, and he has taken the best part of half a minute out of every one of them since the flag.
4 places, and every one of them earned. And look who he has landed alongside. Kruidenier is in this group, 7th on stage 5, 5th on stage 6, and that is measured against all 105 riders in this category, not just the few around him on the road. He starts today 23rd overall, and he has got faster with every single stage of this race.
Yeah, hello. Now we've got a bike race. Biebs has gone after the group in front, Simon. Nearly 3 minutes at 370 watts. Heart rate up at 180. Trouble is, he's out there on his own now, stranded halfway between the bunch he left and the one he's chasing. Best placed man on the classification out of that lot, and he has rolled the dice.
And the dice did not land. Biebs is back in this group, tucked on the very back of it now, getting his breath. That whole effort swallowed up by the flats along the Rue de Rivoli. And this is the stretch where everybody gets it back. Poole's heart is down to 153, his flame barely a quarter gone.
23 minutes in, and that classification is moving Poole's way. He holds 39th, and man ahead of him has come back from very nearly a minute to 23 seconds. But watch Eggleton. He is up another 3 places today, and out on the road he sits in the group ahead of Poole's, 19 seconds up and slowly stretching it. 46 seconds is all that separates the two of them overall.
And there goes Wolf, just under 300 watts. But on a rider his size, that is 4.8 watts per kilo, the best climbing figure in this race. And he is easing clear of Poole's group. This climb is the only place he can do it. 700 meters of cobbles left, then the plateau at the arc, and after that comes the descent and the long Rivoli flats, where a lone rider fights the wind and a group behind him does not. Which tells you his target is not the horizon, it is the group up ahead.
And Wolf's move is done. He never got close to the group ahead, and the long drag of the Rue de Rivoli has hauled him straight back. 2 more laps after this one, and if this group stays as it is, the whole thing comes down to that flat kilometre from the underpass to the arch.
You know the tradition, Simon. Last day of a grand tour, they roll into Paris, sipping champagne, having a chat, posing for the cameras. Then they hit the Champs-Élysées, and it is on. This lot skipped the first bit entirely. 20 seconds after the flag, they were going at it like a cut snake. And look at the damage. Johanson is out on his own with the best part of 3 minutes. Young and Leuverden chasing on their lonesome. A big bunch 35 seconds up the road with Eggleton in it. And Poole's lot next one back. Not a drop of champagne poured all day.
Robbo, that bunch you just described is doing real damage. Eggleton has taken 22 seconds out of Poole since we last looked at the board, up 5 places, and he now sits just 24 seconds behind overall, 2 places back and coming. The consolation is that Poole is up 5 himself, 38th now, with man already swallowed up. Sharman is riding in this very group, so that gap is frozen solid, which makes Davies the one to chase. He started this stage 4 minutes and 5 seconds up on Poole. It is 52 seconds now.
And if this lot arrives at the arch together, it is worth knowing the pecking order. Sharman has the fastest legs here by a distance, over 1,000 watts in a short burst. But that run to the line tilts very slightly uphill, which changes the maths. On a rise, it is watts per kilo that counts. And there, Brad and Poole move up the list, while the bigger men give a little of it back. Biebs is the one who wants it long.
And Biebs has come off the back of this group, 3 seconds down, pushing 280 watts to get himself back on. And at that very moment, Brad's heart bar goes empty and flashing, 43 minutes above 150 beats. You named 4 riders for that finish, Chloe. 2 of them are already in bother, one out the back, the other holding on for dear life. Remind me never to let you pick my horses.
And Bendel has gone!
on the final climb. 10 seconds clear of Poole's group already. 337 watts to do it, and it has cost him very nearly everything. The flame is down to its last sliver, the lightning bolt with it, heart at 182. 5 kilometers left to hold on, and there is almost nothing in either bar.
Simon, it is all done at the front. Johanson has been home a good while now, solo and with about 3 minutes on the next men on the road. Young and Leuverden are fighting over the minor placings, and behind them, a bunch of a dozen or so. Eggleton among them will sprint for whatever's left. Back to you for the run to the line.
And so it comes down to this. 2 kilometres left. The whole group together along the Rue de Rivoli and nobody willing to be the one who leads it out. Poole sitting in at 150 watts, saving every last thing he has. Here comes the dive into the underpass for the final time. They all light it up. Bendel goes hardest of the lot, very nearly 7 watts per kilo on that little ramp. Morrison 6.2, Kruidenier 5.7 and Poole 4.4 just to hold the wheels. That is the last of the climbing done. A kilometre or so to the arch and this group is still all together. Out onto the cobbles for the last time and nobody can get away from this thing. Bendel is turning the biggest numbers of them, 300 watts of it. And at the back, Leeuwen is having to put out 400 just to stay attached. Poole holds his fire, sitting in and waiting, a feather saved up and ready to go. 600 metres. And Leeuwen goes, carries his momentum straight through the middle of them and opens a gap. And now the whole group has to chase. Leeuwen still has daylight on them, and it is Wolf doing the chasing, 360 watts of it. And BevetBreizh launches with 300 metres to go. The Italian goes with him, and here come Brad and Poole. The Italian comes around BevetBreizh and takes it over the line. Poole is closing fast but running out of road, and Brad pips him. And that is the SISU Tour, done and dusted on the Champs-Élysées. Johanson takes the final stage alone, the best part of 3 minutes clear of Young and Leuverden. Behind them, a bunch sprint settled by inches. And for Poole, a stage that was won and lost inside the opening 8 minutes.
Righto, final word. Poole rolls home 38th overall, up 5 spots. Eggleton started the day 2 places behind him and finished 1 in front, 23 seconds after 7 stages of racing. That'll keep him up at night. But 38th out of 105 is the top half of C grade, and that is exactly what he came for. Good on ya. Right, nobody drank that champagne earlier, so I'm off to find out where they're keeping it. See you next tour.